All right. Thanks a lot for joining me. Hey, I forgot to cover this. Actually, I was gone last week, so I didn't cover it. But did you know that they are actually considering putting new flags, a new flag in Illinois? This is something we don't need. We do not need this, but they had a contest anyway. NBC5 has the report. I'll just read from it. It says the Illinois Flag Commission revealed their 10 choices for the public balloting, which is set to take place in January. So it looks like Illinoisans can vote on whether or not they want one of these 10 selections or any of our previous Illinois flags. And it's going to go to a public vote. The commission then is going to make their recommendations to the State General Assembly later in 2025. This contest opened up in September, and there was really no limitation on the design elements at all, other than you had to explain it. Well, I'm going to put this up for you. I'm going to share this with you, share my screen here. And, okay, here we go. All right, now let's make this bigger for you. Okay, so these are the flags that you can choose from. I don't know. I think I see tires in there. I have no idea what that's about. Okay, this one you can obviously see the outline of Illinois on the western edge, and then the outline of Abraham Lincoln. Okay, but for most people, they're not going to really see that as they're passing by. Here's pretty much the old flag, but with some striping on the side. Whatever. Okay, that you might as well just say, hey, I am a part of the University of Illinois. That's the University of Illinois I. That's what that is, and it's got a 6-pointed star. I'm not sure what that means. You got the butterfly. Yep, Illinois has a monarch butterfly. By the way, monarch butterflies apparently are getting into the verge of extinction. We have not had good weather apparently for them. So, I mean, I'm worried about the butterflies. I care about them. But that's something we should think about looking into. This flag, I don't know what this flag is. It's blue and white. I mean, is this the Democrat version of a flag? I don't get it. All right, there you go. Here's another option. It looks like a t-shirt design. Okay. Green farm fields and a rising sun with 3 6-pointed stars. Sorry, not into it at all. Don't like this one either. Okay. And then this is the last choice. Is this the police flag? Sort of a version of blue and gold? I don't get it. But this is what they came up with. Okay. So that's what you got for Illinois flags. This is what they've been spending their time on. Oh, good grief. It's very concerning. Well, if you haven't heard, and probably you did, Chicago mayor did pass his budget finally. And this is after first saying that he wanted a $300 million property tax increase. And unanimously, the alderman said, no, you're not getting that. So he kept paring it down. Finally, it was down to about $68 million. And they still said no property tax increase. Okay, great. I mean, Brandon Johnson had floated the fact that he was going to not raise property taxes when he first entered the race for mayor to begin with. Why did he renege immediately on the promise and put in a $300 million property tax increase? Well, he did it because he has out of options. They have $1 billion budget hole. He has no idea how to close that budget hole. He had no idea what he was going to do when he first got into office. And but he found out that nobody had an appetite for a property tax increase. Good. So not because Brandon Johnson didn't want a property tax increase, was there not one, but because the alderman said no. Instead, they're using all sorts of other gimmicks with contract provisions, gimmicks with tax and fee increases. For example, instead of 7 cents for a bag tax, you're going to have 10 cents for a bag tax. This is how they're going to raise things. Streaming is going to be more expensive too, higher taxes there. And of course, it would not be a balanced budget if it didn't include some level of new debt. And that's what he's doing. He's adding some additional debt because, of course, they say that debt is revenue, which is ridiculous. This is why Illinois and Chicago are in such bad straits. But anyway, they did pass this budget. Well, I say they should have all the aldermen should have said no to the budget until he had resolved the issue of a $700,000 affordable apartment. Now, Illinois Policy Institute put out this story. I talked about it in my reveille from this morning. You'll hear that. But the story came out, and it came out ahead of the budget vote. And all the aldermen should have said, hell no. Here's the story. Back when Johnson first got into office, he said that he was going to spend $1.25 billion over the course of 5 years to essentially build out affordable housing. So one of his first projects is this project going in the Near West Side, and it's $30.6 million to build 44 apartments. That's $700,000 an apartment. And IPI did the work on this, and they said that the average 2-bedroom home in that area only costs $126,000. So he's building affordable apartments that are 5 times greater than the cost of the average 2-bedroom home in that area. This is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Johnson's spokeshuman on this, she got in there and said, look, we're building sustainable housing and it needs to be safe and secure for these folks. And we want it to be nice. And so we have higher end things inside there. And I'm thinking to myself, what are these apartments? Where do they have the highest end appliances you can buy? Where do they have walk-in pantries, walk-in closets? Who knows what's in these? But $700,000 apartments as affordable housing for people who are in need of housing. And a lot of those folks that are going to qualify to go into this affordable housing are also the same folks who are receiving other benefits from the public, from the taxpayer. So they could be on TANF. They could be getting a housing voucher on top of it. So you are stacking the decks against taxpayers when you do this. And it's actually not good for people who really need housing, because imagine if you could buy those for the average cost. Maybe you could actually buy them a 2-bedroom house for $126,000 instead, and you could get 5 families into affordable housing for the price of just one of his apartments that he's building. Now, the debt load on this too is incredible, because over the next 30 years, over 30 years actually, they probably won't start paying off the debt until the $1.25 billion has been expended, which they plan on expending that funds in the next 5 years. So then by 2061, the debt on the $1.25 billion will finally be paid off. And the interest cost on that debt is nearly the same as the $1.25 billion. In total, the whole project is going to cost $2.4 billion. I don't know how many affordable homes he's going to get out of this. All I know is that somebody should be looking at, why is it costing Chicago $700,000 an apartment? And they're calling that affordable housing. And Johnson isn't being raked over the coals by the aldermen. And the budget they should have said no until they figured out why it cost them $700,000. And I can tell you why. Oh yeah, it's permitting cost. It's all these government costs. It's union labor costs. It's whatever person they're buying the materials from. It's the construction cost. It's who's getting paid on the backside. What do they buy the land for? I mean, this is all part of the deal. It's all such a scam. A $700,000 2-bedroom apartment. Give me a break. Anyway, something you should all be concerned about, because if I'm right that the people who are going to be living in these affordable houses are also going to be receiving a housing voucher to afford the $700,000 apartment. If I'm right about that, that means that everybody who is a taxpayer in this country is on the hook for his $700,000 apartment, because it's going to be a federal housing voucher that on the backside is coming in and supporting it. Anyway, just one more scam in the state of Illinois. Also, you saw the flags. I showed them to you. I think they're all ugly and they should go down in flames, and we should just keep our old flag. No sense in changing that. All right. Well, thanks a lot. As we get closer to Christmas, you'll see less of me online, but if I don't see you again, Merry Christmas and have a new year. Great. Happy New Year.